Hello and welcome! Silrace here with Build Showcase. Build on your screen right here. Pause the video if you wish to copy the exact build. The main components of it are also listed in the description below. Now, this is the arrow. The hero Blackjack, only available for MC, at least at the time of making this video. Also, another thing to note, I have just finished the basic pilot skills at the time of this recording, recording these games, so if you have already elited or mastered out the pilot skills of your arrow, you will see the same build perform just a little bit better on that front of. And while I'm trying to avoid getting shot to pieces by this Kodiak, getting out here into, you know, hiding and whatnot, let me also mention that no modules were in use as I was playing this particular games, because I wish to show the builds as they are without any of the extra accessories you can add in to make it even better. Right. So, those things out of the way, let's talk about the build. Well, firstly, arrow itself has very interesting hardpoints. Because, well, you do have access to 6, and I repeat that, 6 ballistic hardpoints in the arms. So you can do all sorts of weird, funky, hilarious trolley bells of like 6 machine guns and stuff, and I've done that way back when. But, frankly, well, those things are fun, and you can try combinations of different kinds of other ballistic weapons, like trying to mount an AC-20 on the arrow. I personally have always veered towards the just triple large lasers and calling it a day, because it is consistent, it works, and it also fits in well with the fact that arrow is a 45-ton mech. Let's avoid those explosions. 45-ton mechs don't really want to brawl all that much, so an AC-20 might not be the thing you wanna do, because you're the most durable thing ever. However, there are issues with the energy hardpoint in the fact that they are all in torsos, so you can't really shoot up and down all that well with them. Like shooting down UAVs can be a bit of an issue at times, and so forth. But this works fairly well as a sort of a medium to short range support fire mech, and that's exactly what I'm trying to do here. I am, as soon as all of those things were coming my way, and you could see me falling back. Granted, things can still try to shoot at me, and that's exactly what they are trying to do. They are still trying to shoot at me. I am not afraid of taking some damage here and there. You should never be afraid of taking some damage, because you want to share armor and damage across your entire team. That way, I mean, if nobody dies but you are all almost dead, then you still have your guns out there shooting at things. And of course you provide more vision still at things. For example, locking for LRMs if that's your thing. Now, I went into hiding downstairs, just too many enemies there, just went into hiding and get out here, and of course there's a Timberwolf. Of course there's a Timberwolf, so yeah. It's probably sees me dead because it's one of those Timberwolves with lots and lots of things to do. And I mean, arrow versus Timberwolf, whenever was that any kind of a fair fight for the arrow? Not too often, no. So, get back into hiding and change where I'm going to come out of, because I don't want to go face to face with the Timberwolf. No point to it, especially with a build like this. Also, the Timberwolf was carrying a gauze rifle, so that's scary. So let's do that. Now, the arrow is quite mobile, especially once you finish elites and whatnot. It is quite mobile mech. And most of my team is dead at this point, and I see a Shadowhawk with a friendly ECM mech fighting him. So I figure, okay, that might give me an extra kill at the end of this game. So let's do that. Let's go farm off some damage, help out the friendly cheater, Arctic cheater, out and do some damage to a Shadowhawk here. Right? Of course, it's a brawling Shadowhawk, and this is very close quarter ranges, but it is 2 versus 1. So I'll help out the Arctic Cheetah in this particular combat. So why the heck not? It's basically, well, me, the cheater, and something else still alive on the team. Not the most awesome thing to do with this particular mech, but at this point it was basically, well, let's get a little bit more damage in, get a little bit more XP, a little bit more C-bills, and I could have either gone to the enemy team or help out a teammate against a badly damaged, you know, mech. Well, it wasn't badly damaged at that time, but we basically got it down. So, yeah. Something to do. Let's move on to the next replay, because this one is basically over. Well, I'll let you see the very end of it as well, and then let's talk about the next one. Shall we? The second game I have here for you is on Alpine Peaks. Completely different game mode, with the Conquest being the game mode of choice here, as a Wolverine decides to just, you know, run through me for some odd reason, whatever. Anyway, I do want to show 2 different maps and try to show you gameplay which illustrates a build's strengths and weaknesses. I don't want to cherry pick the games with best results for these videos. I could do that, but I don't want to. I want to show you what the build can actually do and what it struggles to do. The sort of average games with it. So here I am busy trying to work myself into a flank, right? Because this is a fire support build, straight up. It's 3 large lasers, doesn't want to get too close, doesn't want to stay too far. I'm trying to work myself into a flank. There are a couple bigger guys around me, so essentially I can hope that the enemies shoot at those bigger guys, and I'm kind of hoping that I can get some, you know, flanking fire off on people heading for Sigma, but then there is an Ebon Jaguar popping on top of a hill, so I'm going to shoot at that, right? I mean, there is a point down there, which I don't want to go contest the point, but I want some free damage on people who are trying to get to that point. Of course, I would prefer not to take any extra damage, so let's use this little hill here in middle to block those PPC shots from coming into me, right? Like this. And then see if I can get any more free damage in on these guys while they cross. Nope. Okay. Let's go join the rest of my team. I don't want to be here alone either, because that... if some kind of a brawler decides that they want me dead, all they have to do is come right at me and simply take me out at close ranges. So stick with your team or work yourself into a flank to get some free damage like I did there, and then get back to your team and support your bigger bodies. Let your bigger bodies take most of the damage for you, and just keep on pouring those large laser, you know, shots. It takes a lot of exposure time to get all of your damage in with the large lasers. So situations like this, where nobody's firing at you, enemies are busy with something else, and I just got shot in the back, so I am going to turn around and figure out what's behind me. Okay, it would be a Shadowcat with PPCs, and that's one of those things where it's like, okay, it's a Shadowcat with PPCs. I think I am gonna go for it, right? Because I should be able to take a Shadowcat with PPCs on my own without a hitch with this particular build, right? Okay, it's a Shadowcat with 2 PPCs. It's even missing those PPCs. And now I have a help. Now it's 2 versus 1. A Jenner and a me versus a Shadowcat. Easy peasy kill, right? So let's go help the Jenner out. Get rid of the person who was behind the team, trying to, you know, do damage from the rear. I'm so going to help kill that thing off, right? And that's all good. I'm basically, I could have shot it in the leg, which would have been even more, well, better way to get rid of it at that point, and that's too far for these lasers. without any extended range modules installed either, so yeah. The other reason I am running large laser instead of ER larges is because, well, personally I just do not like how ER larges function as opposed to larges. The burn time differences, cooldown difference, all that stuff. But like this, see? So these guys are busy fighting somebody else. Okay, I am not sharing armor efficiently here with the rest of my team, but I have absolutely free reign to shoot at things which essentially shut down in front of me and stuff. So, yeah. And as I mentioned, this requires a lot of exposure time. You see the amount of time I have to be exposed to the enemies here firing to get all my damage in. That's because of the burn duration of the lasers, obviously. So, yeah. At this point I decide to, okay, I'm going to chain fire instead of just cooling down and trying to alpha, because, well, we are kind of winning that engagement down there. That starts to be almost too far, so yeah. It is time to start heading closer as well. I am hanging here just a tad too long, because these guys now start to be almost at the very extreme edge of the range. So, but, I mean, because I have such easy firing line here, I am willing to take all of these shots, even for lessened damage. Right. Let's go close that gap though, because if I'm losing teammates I need to start really sharing that armor. All of this armor on this mech is entirely unnecessary and useless if it never gets used for anything. Also, the enemies have 3 capture points, so get into that capture point. That was the other thing I was looking at, because I don't want to lose this accidentally by having the enemy just outcap us. That would be like bad and stuff, right? So there is a capture point and there is an easy mech right there. I have help to get to the mech, but most of all I do want to get into the capture zone. Like I mentioned, I do not want to lose the game even if I manage to kill every single enemy. So this guy comes here to fight me 2 ER large lasers versus 3 large lasers. Figure which one's gonna win. Not too difficult to figure that one out, right? Not too difficult. Of course there is 2 of them versus me, but of course I do have teammates and, well, somebody decides to drop some kind of a strike and I finally shut down after getting the leg off. But now I'm sharing the armor, see? The armor is working fine for this mech and I'm just hiding from the fire. It's like, try to shoot me. I'm hiding behind this thing, making sure we cap this so we can actually win for sure. And then he's starting to run away. That's when I take my shots, right? You run away, alright? Just keep running. I am okay with you running away. I'm just gonna cap this, because I do wanna win the game. And then of course I back out of the cap zone while being all excited about enemies running away, you know, because that's a thing. So yeah. Alright, now that's ours. Let's go chase down the kill. Of course it's an Arctic cheater, so likely runs into a completely different direction than where we are coming in from. But so few of us are alive that I don't want to split from the rest of my team too much. Alright? I just don't. Because if I do, give the enemy light mech chance to fight each and every one of us one by one, which is a really bad, you know, premise on trying to kill light mechs. We could have either sit at the caps, or because I have jump jets I can try to chase. Unfortunately the Centurion cannot come up here with me, but because I mean I have jump jets I can go through here, but the Centurion cannot. That's one reason why I bring 2 jump jets on mechs which are capable of, you know, bringing jump jets, because you can do this sort of stuff and actually climb hills. 1 jump jet is good for just traversing minor terrain obstacles and whatnot. It just doesn't really get you off ground well enough to actually really climb things. So I bring 2. Now, I know where the enemy is obviously at this point, because I see the Epsilon being lost. So yeah, but that, I mean, even if it still gets Epsilon, we still have 3 points even after that. So this is a 1 game. So I'm gonna just let it roll to the end. You get to see the ending of it. Hopefully this build convinced you to try itself out if you haven't.